Before we start, I need to say this clearly. This video is for educational purposes only. I'm not an attorney, and this is not legal advice. Divorce laws vary state by state, so you should always consult a family law attorney or a mediator in your state before making any divorce decisions. But let me ask you something uncomfortable right out of the gate. Is it easier to call your spouse a narcissist to make sense of the pain of your divorce? Because I hear that word constantly, and I understand why. When someone cheats on you, ignores you emotionally, checks out, or makes you feel invisible for years, your brain wants a reason, a label, something that explains why this hurts so badly. But here's the part no one tells you. That label is not going to get you more money in your divorce. It's not going to get you the house. It's not going to change how assets are divided. And believing it can cost you cash, a lot of it. I want to slow this down and explain what marriage and divorce actually are. Because once you understand that, a lot of confusion disappears. Marriage is not just an emotional thing. It's not just romantic. Marriage is a legal and financial contract between you, your spouse, and the state. When you get married, you are legally agreeing to build a shared financial life together. Assets, debts, income, equity, whether you handled the money or not, whether you earned more money or less, the law sees this as a joint financial unit. Divorce is not about deciding who was the better spouse. Divorce is about unwinding that contract. And this is where people really get blindsided. Divorce is not a moral trial. It's not about fairness in the emotional sense. It's not about who caused the most pain. Divorce is a distribution of assets and responsibilities under the law. That doesn't mean your pain isn't real. It doesn't mean your spouse didn't hurt you. It just means the court system is not designed to heal emotional wounds. Courts care about numbers. They care about documents. They care about ownership, equity, income, and timelines. They do not divide assets based on heartbreak. Let me tell you about a client of mine because this is a story I see over and over again. She came to me convinced she would get to keep the house, not because of the math, not because of strategy, because of his behavior. There had been betrayal, emotional neglect, years of feeling dismissed, and in her mind, it felt obvious. He behaved badly, so he shouldn't get the house. The home was worth about $500,000, and they owed about $100,000. That meant there was $400,000 of equity in the house. That's the marital asset. Her spouse was the only one on the mortgage. She asked me how she could force him to sell the house because she believed his behavior justified it. But here's the truth, and it's not always easy to hear. If someone is solely on the mortgage, they do not automatically have to sell if they can come up with a way to pay the other spouse their share of the equity. Equity is money. It's not the house itself. It's the asset. In this situation, that $400,000 of equity might have meant $200,000 to her. How that money is divided can really look very differently. It could be cash, it could be a new loan or a refinance, it could be a larger share of other assets. The house doesn't have to be the battlefield. But when emotionals are high, people decide that if they don't get the house, that they're losing. That belief is where people lose the most money because when spouses can't agree on value, things escalate fast. Lawyers get involved, courts get scheduled, motions get filed. Eventually, a judge may order an appraisal. And by the time that happens, people have often spent thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. that money comes right out of the marital estate, which means you're paying to fight over your own money. I want to say this clearly because it really matters. Taking an unnecessary stand does not hurt your spouse nearly as much as it hurts you. It drains your money, it delays your life, it keeps you emotionally stuck. Now, let's talk about the narcissist label again. Sometimes people truly were in deeply unhealthy relationships, but many times that label becomes a way to seek justice through the divorce. If they're a narcissist, then I should win. If they're a narcissist, the court will see it. But divorce does not offer emotional justice. It offers legal resolution. Courts do not divide assets based on personality traits. Calling your spouse a narcissist will not change how equity is divided. What will change your outcome is understanding the rules and working within them. When my client finally realized she could receive her share of the equity without forcing a sale, everything shifted. She didn't lose, she got paid. And then she got free. Because the best revenge in divorce, if you want to call it that, is not winning the house. It's taking your money, protecting your peace, and building a life that feels good again. Divorce is not about punishment of the past. It's about restructuring your future. When you stop trying to make the process hurt your spouse, you stop hurting yourself. So thanks so much for listening today. If my content resonates with you, please hit the subscribe button, share this content if you know somebody that's going through this, and please leave a comment if anything comes up that you have questions about. I truly appreciate this. Thank you so much.